everybody. Welcome to NiteLife Exchanges. I'm Scott Barbarino, the publisher of NiteLife Exchange, and the host here, one of the hosts here at NiteLife Exchanges, where we talk about all things nightlife, cabaret, theater, jazz, Broadway. And I'm going to bring on my co-host here today and every day, Mr. Tony Javid. Come
I'm
on
your
on, Tony.
everyday co-host.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
How
Tony,
you
it's
doing?
busy over here in New York. We have nice weather finally, and everybody's out.
And loving
So
it.
things are
I
going
love
well.
seeing New Yorkers when they're getting their first taste of summertime.
Exactly, exactly. It's a little late this year, but we're going to
It
get there.
is.
So, everybody, welcome. And this is it's a special day. We've had a couple of very good interviews over the last couple of weeks with different people that are directors in the cabaret genre. And today we have a very special guest, somebody that I've seen a couple of shows that she's directed, but is not somebody that's unfamiliar with people that are in the world of Broadway or cabaret, because after three Tony nominations and one win uh, at one point, yeah, I'm going to say let's get that drum roll ready, Tony.
All right.
Our guest today is Faith Prince.
Hey, Faith.
Hey,
Hi, Faith.
so happy to be here.
I'm
So
so
happy to have
happy.
you with us.
Very nice to have you here. And like I said, anybody that hasn't doesn't know Faith or know about Faith or hasn't seen Faith on a stage, you go onto the Google machine and you do all of that research that way, and you're going to have a ball on YouTube and all of that because it's
Oh.
all there.
And
But
you're missing
today,
out if you don't know.
yeah, you're missing out if you don't know. But with all of that experience in that level, Faith has come and has over the last couple of years been actually putting work together, putting her work in, and doing work with cabaret shows and directing cabaret shows. So that's where we want to hit today. That's what we want to talk about. And so, Faith, let's start from the beginning. Like in your world, growing up. Obviously, you saw a lot of theater. I'm guessing you got involved in the musical theater and college and all of that. When did cabaret first hit the radar for you?
Actually, cabaret was the last sort of, uh, I guess, genre for me. I had come through the world of musical theater, went to Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. I'm from the South, I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia. And we had quite a musical sort of high school, and they put on a huge, like, major production during each high school year. And I had been lucky enough to star in both of those productions when I was in my 11th grade and 12th grade. And I had a great sort of chorus director, and he really believed in me. And he was the one that helped me get into Cincinnati Conservatory. And I went there for 4 years and then moved to New York, and I had been in New York probably, let's see, I moved there in like 1980, and then had seen cabaret during those years, but really was from the world of theater and then Broadway. And I think it was Wally Howsam at Joe's Pub that devised sort of he had several concerts, and he came to me and he said, I think you should do a cabaret show. And I said, oh God, I don't think so. I said, I love being other people. I can't imagine just getting up there and having, my own persona, and I'm not sure what I would have to say. And I was really trepidatious. But he was very encouraging and got a great group of people around me. Alex Ryback was my first musical director, and Daisy Prince, Hal's daughter, was my first director. And then Stuart Ross was a friend, and he helped us put the sort of show together. So it was a great team. But I remember being just terrified. And I think at my very first performance there, I put up like only 10 songs. We were just trying things out, but I had a lot of the cabaret community there. And I was like, nothing like trial by fire. And
Right.
And but it was one of the most thrilling coming off stage. I just felt so incredibly empowered, and I was like, wow, I
Mm.
think I've found my niche. And I was from a long line of storytellers growing up, so that mixed with the Broadway kind of created my sort of way of storytelling and song telling. And then I went on to do that for the next couple of decades, you know, in
Yeah.
small venues and uh, at performing arts centers. And I mashed up with a couple of friends and colleagues and did double bills. And then I did Four Girls Four with Andrew McCardle and um, Donna McKechnie and Maureen McGovern. And then I did
Wow.
symphonies and things like that. But then I was asked to come to the Yale Cabaret Conference by Irv Rabel via Alex Ryback.
Mm.
I think Amanda McBroom had fallen out, and they said, "Why don't you come and teach this summer?" And I was like, "I I don't really teach," and I, you know, again terrified. But of course, they got me up there, and I had a lot to say. So that's the beginning.
Well, you started out with, I mean, the team that you had working there between Alex Rybeck and then Daisy Prince, you had a strong team behind you.
It's a pretty
So
good debut team.
yeah,
Yes, yes, I did. And I remember Larry Grossman did some special music for it. It was a very good act. It was Leap of Faith, which is my first sort of live album. And it's funny when we started it, I think Stewart was more sort of interested in sort of a female version of Forever Plaid in his mind,
Mm.
and we were going to call it Broadway Cocktail. But then, you know, I think it was Alex said, you know, this is really about you. This is about you. And so they all kind of came to that uh, sort of direction, and it became Leap of Faith.
and I'm glad it did
A good
because that's,
change.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's an amazing thing. To firstly, Joe's Pub is very, very supportive of. I mean, I just saw Betty Buckley there 2 weeks ago. And the thing is, as you started at the beginning, coming from, you're creating, you're on a stage in a Broadway show and you're a character. You're
Exactly.
on a stage in a cabaret show, you're yourself. But the
And it
stories,
really is a different entity. And sometimes people that play other characters aren't able to cross over. I mean, it's a very kind of tricky,
Correct.
right?
but I have such respect and regard for it. And it is its own sort of wonderful, magical entity. I mean, I think the first person I had ever seen was Karen Mason at the
Oh,
Duplex. And I was just, I really was gobsmacked how just natural she floated from song to song. And sometimes she would have different points of views or be a character or this or that, but then she'd stop and talk to the audience. And she was very just, oh, she was amazing, just how spontaneous she
Were
was.
you getting were you getting ready to say that you saw her at the Duplex?
Yeah, the
yeah.
Duplex.
Yeah. So that's back in the day, when people used to go out. In those days at the Duplex, you had an 8 p.m., a 10 p.m., a midnight, and a 2 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
And people really went out to they really went out to those cabaret shows. So from Joe's Pub, then on the road, you took Leap of Faith, traveled. Now, after here you had somebody helping to direct you.
Yes.
Uh, on the road, they didn't travel with you. I'm guessing you took the show out.
You
Did you
know,
find yourself going
it
back to them and
it
needing?
yeah, it had a couple of versions. Mark Berman was my lighting director. I mean,
Mhm.
so he was in charge of kind of the sound and the lights. And Daisy didn't go with us on the road, but you know, my husband went with us sometimes. Who he plays a wonderful horn, and he was sort of in the story of how we met. And you know, it was just completely different venues. Sometimes it was a small venue. Sometimes it was I played the Colony down in Palm Beach. I did that kind of once a year for maybe about 12 years, you know, and sometimes I'd sort of rethink my show and put new songs in and try it out down there. And I actually did my second live album called Total Faith, and recorded it there at the Colony. Rob Russell was very instrumental, and now he's sort of taken over the region, and he's a performer himself. But he was very supportive, and I did everything from PACs to the Boston Pops and Salt Lake City Pops, and I traveled with Keith on the road in the Boston Pops for one summer and did different things. It was quite wonderful. It really opened up a whole new world for me, and I think when I started teaching, that led to sort of people coming to me and just wanting me to help them put things together. And it sort of all happened naturally. And then one day I found myself really in charge of the whole production, you
Well,
know.
it's interesting because you're so known for your character work, and so I imagine that when people saw, oh, to be able to do that most intimate of transitions, that must have really impressed people, and they said, wow, she really can do both of those with such ease. I'm going to her.
Well,
I'm
and
sure
it
it didn't
it,
hurt.
it was surprising for me. And a lot of what I learned about cabaret was from Alex in the beginning. I mean, he had quite an extraordinary career playing, and he was a very good coach. I mean, a lot of times I was too big for the room, and he was just
Hmm.
like, it's less. I mean, I always say to my
Right.
students, we all have go-tos, and sometimes we need to reverse our go-tos. We're always learning new things. So I really had a lot to learn about the craft, and I did. And I think that's why it's been instrumental in me sort of helping somebody else walk through it, because I
Hmm.
understand the pitfalls and the
Right.
things that I go tos, and trying to sort of learn a different craft.
And you're still performing,
I am.
and now let me ask you, now that you're when you perform, do you have, is somebody directing you, still
I
directing you now, or
always,
do you?
always.
Okay, that's an
You
important
need
thing for
you
people to
need
hear.
that eye, in my opinion. You
And
cannot
Agreed.
every
see yourself, and even your
everybody's agreeing
pianist,
on that. Everybody's
even
agreeing on that.
even your pianist, as good as they are, they're focused on the music. Sometimes they can't hear things or see things. And I mean, in working together, it's a collaborative, sort of work together. But you need that third eye, and I've really had some good ones. I Dan Forrest, who's Liz Calloway's husband, has
Hmm.
directed me in quite a few of them. My girlfriend, all the way back from Summerstock, she went to Northwestern. Karen Carney, she ended up selling phones and was kind of a mega sort of salesman in that world. But she would come back and direct me in some of my acts, and
Right.
but she was from the theater in Northwestern, and uh, I've had some really, really great directors, and I always have somebody. Mark Waldrop has directed me before, and I think you need that eye. You
Yeah.
need somebody
So,
on the outside. I always say to people, you can maybe come up with the songs and put it together, but
Hmm.
you need that person as a director. And yeah, that's why I love being that. And I sort of got my own MFA in it by working and naturally putting things together and taking what I knew. And that's happened a couple of times. I mean, I remembered when I first moved to Sacramento, which is where I live now, my father-in-law, who's since passed, but he was looking for somebody to sort of stage and direct the 200-piece choir they have here in Sacramento. It's the Sacramento Chorus. And he said, we need somebody to sort of direct us. And I went, oh, okay, I'll think of somebody. And he'd go, well, why not you? And I go, me? I don't do that. And he goes, well, how many shows like that have you done? And I was like, Yeah, quite a few. So I got my friend Karen again, and we co-directed it. And he, I mean, he just believed that I could do anything. So I think all those components sort of came together. And then I was working with students. And one time I had like four students who wanted to put something together in New York. And it's very hard to get, audiences in when you're young and starting. So I said, why don't the four of you put an evening together and each do like 25 minutes? And and that way each of you will draw in certain amount of people. So you'll have a really good solid audience. And they
Right.
called it We Have a Little Faith. So, I think that was the first time I'd really sort of put something up where the four of them did it. And then I had students coming to me, starting to ask me to really do their shows. And I even helped Carmen Cusack, who's, wonderfully gifted performer. I helped her put her first gala together. I think it was for the Globe. And there's a wonderful actress, Brooke Elliott, who had done I had done Drop Dead Diva with. I played her mother in that, and she had done Taboo and all these musicals, and she's now in Sweet Magnolias, I think. And she asked me to put a gala together for her alma mater, So I just started sort of doing it naturally, and then it became a real thing. And I thought, oh, I think this is a real calling for me, and I don't know, I slept better at night.
We could all use that.
It felt solid somehow.
Hmm. Well, that was. I mean, I'm curious just about. So, what would you say that your process with getting your process when like meeting someone for the first time, you're deciding to work with them, but now that was then, so now you have all that experience,
Right.
of
And
doing
it
that.
took
Is
a
there a
while.
process?
It really
Mhm.
does take a while to sort of have your own process. And that's why I say you kind of create your own MFA,
Mhm.
um, teaching and what you need from people. And I have so many ways in now that it it relaxes me in a way that I can really just listen, and I can see where the person's coming from. Have
Mhm.
they done Broadway? Have they had any kind of acting training? Is
Mhm.
it mostly musical? Because sometimes I have to take them into a world that's a little bit uncomfortable. Like I have a lot of lawyers, doctors,
Mhm.
psychiatrists that loved music.
Dentists, little
And
bells are ringing
yeah,
situation, maybe.
yeah, absolutely. And so I had a speech therapist. I They've done a lot of different things. And so I kind of fill in the cracks because I'm having to create worlds for them where they've really not had the basic theater training.
Mm, that's very
Well,
interesting.
And so sometimes walking them through that, this is going to feel a little different, but try it. You'll like it.
yeah. A couple of a couple of takeaways for the people that are watching this, trying to figure you want to get into cabaret or you've been. Number one thing that we're getting consistently is to make sure you have that extra pair of eyes,
That's
and
right.
Here,
Faith
here.
is doubling down on that again, and she had that, getting together and figuring out what you want to do is going to happen, but you need to have somebody there to help you with that. The other
Absolutely.
thing is we have been saying this, and I've said this over and over with the way the world is now. I'm so glad to hear that you have clients like that are doctors, lawyers, and analysts, whatever that want to take that moment, because with all of the things that are going on with AI and all of the things like including what we're doing right now, stuck on the screen, one of the things that's really going to save us all is if we start getting back into actual physical rooms with each other and hear each other's stories. And
Oh,
if everybody wants
it's
to
like
do a
sitting around
cabaret
the
show,
campfire. It really is. It's like sitting
100%.
around the
let's do it.
campfire. And
Everybody should do a cabaret show.
and I have to tell you, it's if I did a segment, I kind of I'm obsessed with like CBS Sunday Morning. It's kind of
Oh,
my
love it.
church. And if I
Yeah.
did a segment, it wouldn't so much be about the act itself. It would be about the the change in people's everyday lives that come from doing an act.
Yeah.
I have seen
More.
amazing things happen in their own life, the confidence, the I'll give you an example. I had a wonderful lawyer, who a woman I met at St. Louis Cabaret years ago, and she wanted to put an act together, and she had been part of a group and put one together before, but she had done the stories first and then chosen the songs. And I said,
Hmm.
maybe let's try the reverse and just see the things you're attracted to. I'd love to see like what songs are you thinking. And so she started choosing songs, and I always find that very revealing because I always think there's something about it that attracts you that you had no idea did. And it's usually deep and has a lot of stakes. And she started to put this medley of men's songs together, like the Rat Pack and, debonair men and film noir men. And they all had a certain ruggedness and this, and it was all men's songs.
Hmm.
Come to find out, very interesting story. She had been married to a man who was also a lawyer. And on her daughter's 10th birthday, he dropped dead in front of both of them.
Jeez.
And she really felt the need to sort of, she was now the single parent of this young person. And she was at the same law firm that he was at, but she was one of the only women, maybe one other woman in the whole law firm. And she'd always sort of just done her duty. She did not want to get fired. She felt very under the pressure of being a single parent. Long story short, this men's medley turned out to be how she sort of felt the power she didn't get in this firm.
Hmm.
So it was a way of her getting some power
Mm-hmm.
in her
Claiming
life,
it.
and acting some power. Well, lo and behold, the firm came to see her perform. And that year came time for her bonus, and she usually had to go up to the head of the firm, and her partners had not done the work she had, and she was going to have to wait on the bonus because of their lack of work. And she finally said, you know what, this year's going to be different. I need my bonus. I've done my work.
Very good.
I need
That
the bonus.
is incredible.
And I
That's
know it was because
Yeah.
of that act.
Yeah.
I could tell you 15 stories like that right now.
yeah. No, it
Well,
does. It definitely it makes you. It gives you the confidence. And what about all those women that were in the room when she did that medley? I'm sure
Oh,
that a lot of them left there,
I
and
mean,
they were like, okay, well,
I
I'm going
get
to go.
chills thinking about it. And at first she was like, "Oh, I like the songs. I just want to be Frank Sinatra. I
Right.
want to be Martin."
right.
No, it's always
Right.
something
There's
deeper.
something deeper. Yeah.
It is. It is. It is. It is. And I mean, I have another lawyer who did a whole story of her family about imagination. We called it law of imagination because her imagination
Mm-hmm.
growing up had created this whole world. She's now a Privacy Act lawyer and created a whole world that nobody really believed in.
Right.
And, I mean, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm so passionate about this. I am never bored. I wake up every day so excited what I get to do in life. I really feel almost like I've cheated because I know the world is filled with very tough things, but putting joy in, helping somebody express themselves, not impress, but express, it just gives me I feel like we're
Absolutely.
putting something back in the world.
And
You're
and
talking like an
we
arts educator supreme. That
and we are.
that's definitely in there.
Yeah, and cabaret is one of those. It's a special. It's very special for that.
It
I've
really
seen.
is. And people, I know it gets a bad sort of rap sometimes. And I think that's why I'm so determined to also teach it and be an advocate for it, because I believe in the taste, in the integrity of it, in the work, in the craft of it. Because I even I taught at Yale with like Julie Wilson and Sharon McKnight, and these incredible performers that I was just lapping up, and I
No.
think if I can put that back in, plus Jerome Robbins that I worked with, or I mean, just so many incredible, Tina Landau, all of that's in there. It's just
Mhm.
brewing, like, in my cauldron. Um,
One of the things that I'm also noticing a lot are that people that are of a certain age, retired people that have retired, and they haven't had a chance to really to figure out what their story is, or
but
it's
it's
part.
a second act. It's a third
Mhm.
act.
It
And
is,
it
and I have it.
overrides ageism.
I
Yes, it
say
does.
that I say that cabaret is the next. That 80 is the cabaret and 80. I've seen
Absolutely.
some, and then you have Marilyn May that's absolutely
Thank you.
blows the roof
Beyond,
off of.
beyond. But I've had students 92. I've had students 8,
Hmm.
and they both were glorious.
Hmm.
Right.
I mean, I can't even tell you how excited I get about it, and I never saw it coming. This I never saw me teaching. I never saw me directing. Um, and it is the thing that I mean, I get up every day, and listen, I still love performing, but I don't need that like I need this.
That's so interesting. That's so
Yeah.
interesting. Like I said, I saw you on the Broadway stage last year, and you left me wanting more.
Oh,
But also the idea of sort of passing that baton. It's like how lucky, to be able to do both, to sort of
right.
be able to throw down with your first love, but to be able to have that generosity of spirit and genuine kinetic excitement in passing it that
And
tradition
I
along.
really have, and those kids, I mean, I was the oldest one in the cast. I was 15 years older than Steven, who's playing Grampy. And listen, I never force myself on anybody. I sit there and they come to me, and if they
Hmm.
come to me and they want something, absolutely, I'm there to support. And they
That
And
was
they
that, by
Boop,
the way,
everyone. Just so you know, that
yeah,
was
that
Boop.
was
That was
proof.
Boop.
Okay, it was a great show. It should have
I had such a good time.
should have
oh,
stayed open. It's a great show.
listen, it
Um,
had its issues. I wrote a
yeah,
5
but
page email about it, but but it joy. I mean, come on, that
yeah,
audience loved it.
A
I
love
was
letter to New
shocked. I
York.
felt like I was on
yeah.
a train with
That's what I
glass
enjoyed
windows,
most,
going, what is happening here? This is
Mm.
so fascinating.
and it
Um,
felt
I
old. It felt really old, like OG, as they say, old school. Like this
which is
is that goes
probably
back.
what I chosen for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're
So
the
with
real
all of
deal.
that,
So
you
if you
have
need the
some
real
stuff
deal, call
coming
Faith
up.
Prince.
you
Yeah,
know,
you have things coming up, Faith. What do we have on coming up? I know that I
I'm
don't know
just
the order of everything, but Provincetown and then the 92nd Street
yeah,
Y.
yeah.
So tell people
I
what's
funny,
going on.
all my 6 weeks, it's funny. People kept calling me. I'm going, oh, that's right after that. That's right after that. That's right after that. So it's like I start in Oklahoma. I'm directing with Lara Teeter the Discovery Awards, which is the state of Oklahoma. It's the place that these kids audition before they go to the Jimmy Awards in New York. And I've done it for, I didn't do it last year because of Boop, but the past 6 years, except for last year, Lara and I have done it, and he's a wonderful performer and teacher. He's one of the main people at Webster University, and occasionally his daughter Elizabeth Teeter, who's also wonderful, choreographs for it. But I'm going to do that for 10 days. And then I go to St. Louis Cabaret that Tim Shaw runs. And that's a fabulous program that I've done for many years. Again, I didn't do it last year because of Boot, but he usually has me on the staff for that. And then I'll go to Provincetown, and we're doing the Provincetown Festival up there. I'm getting actually a Lifetime Achievement Award there at the end of the week. And, you know, who knew? Who knew Cabaret Faith Prince? And then
Achievement.
and then 92nd Street Y. I'm going to be teaching with Michael Kirklane.
Wonderful.
So,
Yeah.
and it's like the third, I think the third summer we've done it.
Yeah.
So,
He's a favorite of ours down here. He really
He's
does. He
been
puts the work
He's
in.
a good egg.
that child has, and I say child because he's adorable and still young. He's brightened my life in so many ways. And he picks up on things and makes things happen. I mean, thank God we've got him in the world.
Yeah. And so
Good egg and a doer.
People out there that are looking for a director, and you want to be in cabaret, you need a director. Faith is available. You have to figure out. I'm guessing there's a website that they can track you down.
Say that again.
Is there a website where they can actually get in touch?
Well, yes. It's my name, faith-prince.com.
Drop you a line there and say, I have a show. I'm looking for a director.
I have partners in crime. He writes a lot of the acts that I do. Roderick Ferguson, who's wonderful and has won a Mac Award for his.
A genius.
He is a genius and wonderful writer and collaborator. And Bobby Pico, I've been working with lately, putting these acts together, and he is just phenomenal. Does the arrangement.
He's also an all-time favorite of ours up here.
Oh, isn't he the best?
We have a lot of great people in common. Yeah.
So I have a lot of, wonderful, and I mean, I've worked with Alex Rybeck in the past, and Chris Denny, and Billy Stritch, and just all sorts of people. Jerry Sternbach in L.A., and John Boswell is wonderful. I mean, there are just so many great people,
Yeah, it's a deep bench. It's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah. So of course, we've never actually met, and this has been a wonderful, getting the chance to meet you this way. But of course, I had seen you many times on a stage, and one of the ways that we also met was because I had seen several of the cabaret shows that you directed, and one of them was Eden Castillo.
Yes.
And
Marvelous.
I highly recommend anything that she touches is going to be. She's good.
I so agree. I mean, she is completely. I've never seen anybody who could literally. I mean, do opera, do jazz, do blues, do country, I mean, she can sing anything. It's phenomenal, and just her personality, and she's just been a joy to work with. Roderick and I wrote her Con Artist, which she talks about Madeline Kahn, but also she's doing a new one called Gaga for Ronstadt.
What a great title.
That's going to be wonderful,
Right.
So,
well, that's a wonderful collaboration all together. All of you together. You'll be on that one then.
It's sheer joy in the room. It really is sheer joy.
Well, Faith, thank you so much for taking the time to chat about cabaret and directing in cabaret. And we really appreciate the fact that you do that, because you bring it to another level. And part of that is the fact that you are absolutely right. The way that you learned it from the ground up. So now you can pass that along
Exactly. And
to
I
others.
think
And
that really helps,
It's important work, I think. So thank you so much for doing it. And I love seeing how much you love doing it. So
oh,
thank you.
it's, and it should be, and it can be so much fun,
yeah,
and as much, and I always say, I know I'm sitting on you, but it still should be a lot of fun, and I'm only sitting on you because I want it to be the best for you, the best for the audience, and that's what a third eye does. I always say my director, my MD, my collaborator, they keep me from myself in a way. It's like they put my best self, you know first. And the one thing you don't want to do is have anything be a push away. It's always to invite the audience and not
Oh,
prove
yeah.
anything, but as Alex says, express, not impress, right? Because you can see that from a mile away.
You really can. And it does not play.
It just
It really doesn't.
No, and I remind myself every time before I get up, what tonight, it's like, and I love the Calloway sisters. Ann Hampton Calloway goes, oh, da, da, da. She always, does her sort of woo woo stuff, and I just say to myself, I'm here to share. I'm just merely here to share. And I really try to do that every time I get up. And I thought, how much can I really be myself?
Mic
well,
drop.
thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
sharing
Thanks
with
for
us.
having me, and thanks for having uh, the whole platform. I mean, it's so helpful for people.
Well,
Thank
that's
you
our
for
goal
saying
here.
it.
Is
We love doing it, right?
we appreciate that.
And
So
look, I
enjoy
was
the
on
rest of your day. You still
yard,
haven't.
and it worked.
Yes, exactly. You had your
Yeah,
first
congratulations.
chicken experience. So I may this continue for all your next delightful interviews and
Thank you for
StreamYard
having me, and
And
appearances.
I look forward to meeting you both in person.
Here. I cannot wait.
excellent. Well, have
And
to the
have a great
92nd Street.
6 weeks ahead. Yes, exactly. All righty. All
Enjoy the
right.
rest
Until
of your
next
day, Faith.
time, have a
Thank you.
great day.
Bye, everybody.